I have no earthly idea of what I just witnessed in all of my years.
I believe he got a high possibility in doing it. Long as everything go right for the most part.
The vast majority of that $4.6 million, it is not guaranteed.
What if I told you a 5th-round NFL draft pick just walked into the league and completely obliterated 60 years of contract tradition? Not with his arm strength, not with his speed, but with a single clause that has every NFL front office executive losing sleep at night. While first-round quarterbacks were celebrating their guaranteed millions, Shedeur Sanders quietly signed what might be the most revolutionary contract in sports history. This isn't about football anymore. This is about a complete power shift that could destroy the NFL as we know it. And the craziest part? They handed him the pen and watched him rewrite the entire playbook. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this 5th-round pick might have just become the most powerful player in the league and why every college athlete with a social media following is about to follow his blueprint. I'm about to break down the most disruptive contract signing in NFL history, and trust me, this goes way deeper than sports. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how athletes negotiate power, control their brands, and build generational wealth. Shedeur Sanders didn't just sign with the Cleveland Browns, he signed a declaration of independence from the traditional NFL system. Today, I'll reveal the exact clauses that are terrifying league executives, show you how this changes everything for future rookies, and explain why this might be the beginning of the end for the NFL's control over player narratives. This is the story of how one quarterback turned a 5th-round selection into a billion-dollar blueprint.
He still broke records that your Pro Bowler and Super Bowl contestants haven't even touched in the NFL level.
It's the way YouTube and content creation should be, and professionalism, and when I black out, but I'm gonna black out.
The information that was out on Shedeur Sanders came from a lot of people that a lot of people trust and people think that are credible.
Here's where things get absolutely insane, and why every NFL GM is probably updating their resume right now. Shedeur's $4.6 million base contract looks ordinary on paper until you dig into Clause 8.1, Prime Equity and Media Rights. This isn't just a football contract, it's a tech startup agreement disguised as a rookie deal. The moment Shedeur racks up 10 million views across YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch during the season, boom, a $2 million bonus triggers automatically. But here's the kicker that's making executives sweat. He keeps 100% ownership of his content. No NFL middleman taking cuts, no media blackout rules, and total creative and financial control. Then comes the merchandise revolution. Shedeur gets 20% of every Browns item carrying his name or brand, jerseys, cleats, custom merch, everything. Most players get a flat fee and walk away. Shedeur built himself an ongoing revenue stream that grows with his popularity. And the equity match clause? That's where this becomes Silicon Valley level genius. He's not just selling products, he's potentially co-owning the digital platforms they're sold on. This isn't a player contract, it's a founder's agreement that treats Shedeur like a business partner, not an employee.
And it's that branding, bro, being a business, a walking business brand. He's a 5th-round pick, and he generated damn near well over $300 million already in merchandise sale.
With a different degree of scrutiny, so then that would be counter to anything we've seen from Shedeur Sanders in terms of how he's conducted himself across a couple of different stops in college football from Jackson State to Colorado. And for somebody that's grown up in the limelight, you knew that being Deion Sanders' son is going to come along.
When we talk about what I saw, Shedeur was building something the NFL had never seen before, a fully monetized, self-sustaining media empire that generates more buzz than half the league's official channels. This man was pulling in $2 to $3 million annually in college just from nil deals, making him financially independent before he ever stepped foot in an NFL facility. Think about that for a second. Most backup quarterbacks don't make that kind of money, and Shedeur was earning it while still in school. His content strategy is pure genius. Instead of waiting for ESPN or Fox Sports to tell his story, Shedeur controls the entire narrative with 4K production, professional editing, and direct audience engagement. When he drops a YouTube video, it trends immediately because he's built a genuine connection with millions of fans who follow him, not just his team. This is attention economics at its finest. He's not chasing airtime. He is the airtime. The NFL's traditional model depends on controlling player media access, but Shedeur's approach makes that impossible. He brings his audience with him wherever he goes, creating leverage that transcends team loyalty. That's not just smart, it's revolutionary, and it's exactly why the league is scrambling to figure out how to handle this new reality.
And I'm pretty sure I'm going to look it up if that's some type of record. I personally feel that's a record when you look at the atmosphere of it. You look at where he got drafted.
The second Shedeur Sanders signed that contract, the protective bubble that he has been living in officially burst.
So I'm looking at Shedeur Sanders and I'm understanding that that man's cerebral mindset is not only on the field. It's off the field, the networking, the building of the brand, the understanding of, okay, the NFL could reject you at any given time, so leverage is always the key.
Shedeur Sanders, he's going to be making significantly less in the NFL when compared to what he was making with Daddy Dion at Colorado.
He still broke records that your Pro Bowler and Super Bowl contestants haven't even touched in the NFL level.
This wasn't some lucky accident or clever agent maneuvering. This was a masterclass in generational wealth building that started years ago. Dion coach Prime Sanders didn't just raise a quarterback. He raised a brand architect who understood business before he understood blitz packages. From Jackson State to Colorado to Cleveland, every move was calculated to build something bigger than football. Coach Prime made it crystal clear years ago when he said, "We don't sign contracts, we build legacies." That wasn't motivational speaking, that was the actual business plan being executed in real time. Shedeur inherited more than athletic talent. He inherited vision, media savvy, and the understanding that modern athletes must think like entrepreneurs, not just employees. The Boulder to Cleveland transition wasn't a career move, it was a strategic pivot that brought his entire audience and brand infrastructure with him. While other players worry about fitting into team culture, Shedeur brings his own culture and makes it valuable enough that teams want to be part of it. This is legacy thinking at its finest, building something that transcends any single team, contract, or even career. The result? A fifth-round pick who generates more merchandise sales and media attention than most Pro Bowl players, proving that in today's attention economy, influence equals leverage.
Of everything that could be something that can hinder the rise of a quarterback, Shedeur seems to overcome every time, no matter how much blitz packages you throw at Shedeur. He's durable.
Shedeur was my 20th player. He's a first-round caliber player. Like, talent-wise, both those guys, I think, have a huge advantage over Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has to be light years better.
Shedeur seems to overcome every time, no matter how much blitz packages you throw at Shedeur. He's durable. He could take the hits. He doesn't have to be the fastest man on the field. I was always told.
Meaning, Shedeur Sanders, he's going to have to earn that money. I think it's brilliant the way the NFL structures these contracts, especially rookie contracts.
Team, we're not as good individually, but we're better collectively.
Here's what's keeping NFL executives awake at night. If this model catches fire, the entire league structure collapses overnight. Every college quarterback with 1 million followers is watching Shedeur's blueprint and thinking, wait, I don't have to give up my brand when I go pro? The answer is no, not anymore, thanks to the precedent Shedeur just established. We're looking at a potential two-tiered league emerging, traditional players who just play the game and player owners who control their narrative, audience, and revenue streams. When athletes don't need the league to make money, when brands follow the player instead of the team, the entire power dynamic shifts fundamentally. Imagine the next draft class. Instead of just evaluating 40-yard dash times and completion percentages, teams will need to analyze social media engagement rates, content creation capabilities, and brand monetization potential. Suddenly, a player's Instagram following becomes as important as their touchdown to interception ratio. This creates a nightmare scenario for traditional team management. How do you control a player who doesn't need you financially? How do you manage someone whose personal brand generates more revenue than your team's marketing department? Shedeur didn't just sign a contract, he signed a declaration of independence that every future rookie will want to copy.
He's an actual proven talent. He's proven that every single team you put him on, he becomes better.
I think we're all trying to figure out and piece together why that happened, but I got no problem with Deion defending his son.
He could take the hits. He doesn't have to be the fastest man on the field. I was always told if you're talented enough and you're a pocket awareness level pro type quarterback, these are the ones that should be lauded and respected. But when it was time for Shedeur to gauge the field and decide to make a quick decision, and he didn't get disrupted through any way of that blitz package, he still stays sturdy in the pocket.
What we're witnessing isn't just a contract negotiation. It's the complete transformation of professional sports from an employer-employee relationship to a true partnership model. Shedeur Sanders represents the first generation of athletes who understand that their value extends far beyond what happens between the lines on Sunday. This is Silicon Valley thinking applied to sports. Treat yourself like a startup, your fans like investors, and your career like a platform for building generational wealth. The old metrics, rings, MVPs, Pro Bowls, still matter, but they're no longer the complete picture. Modern legacy includes reach, revenue, rights, and the ability to control your own narrative long after you retire. The most brilliant part of Shedeur's strategy is that it's completely scalable. Every college athlete with a nil deal is taking notes, screenshotting contract clauses, and preparing to demand similar terms. We're about to see a wave of player empowerment that makes free agency look like child's play. The NFL wanted a player. What they got was a business partner who's rewriting the rules in real time. And for every young athlete watching this unfold, the message is clear. You don't have to choose between playing the game and owning it. Thanks to Shedeur Sanders, you can do both.
People are trying to assign from a personality standpoint to Shedeur Sanders, and I think that's incredibly unfair to the young man.
Shedeur Sanders didn't just sign an NFL contract, he signed the death certificate for the old way of doing business in professional sports. This fifth-round pick just proved that talent plus strategy plus media savvy equals unprecedented leverage, even against billion-dollar organizations. The NFL thought they were getting a quarterback. Instead, they got a revolution. The ripple effects of this contract will be felt for decades. Every college athlete with a social media following is now armed with a blueprint for maintaining their brand value and financial independence at the professional level. The league's traditional control mechanisms just became obsolete overnight. This is just the beginning. We're witnessing the birth of a new era where athletes don't just play the game, they own it, control it, and profit from it on their own terms. Shedeur Sanders isn't trying to fit into the NFL system, he's rewriting it entirely. What do you think about Shedeur's revolutionary approach? Are we seeing the future of professional sports contracts, or will the NFL find ways to shut this down? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing your perspectives on how this changes the game. If this breakdown opened your eyes to how the sports business is evolving, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that are reshaping professional athletics. And don't miss my next video, where I'll break down which college quarterbacks are most likely to follow Shedeur's blueprint in the upcoming draft. The revolution has begun, and you just witnessed the first shot fired. Welcome to the new era of athlete empowerment.